boys and girls, an assembled company. Welcome to the World Storytelling Cafe. And tonight, or today, or this afternoon, wherever you are in this big wide world, it is Tales and Tunes, hosted by none other than Justine Demir, Queen of the Imp.
Did you say Queen of the World?
I said Queen of the Impro.
Oh, lovely. Not of the
Well,
storytelling world, though.
well, you can be queen of whatever you like, you know.
Thank you very much.
Hold on.
Is that my entrance music to my throne room?
No, that's my old friend, suspected spam. Go away.
Good old Sue, suspected spam. Love her.
Yes.
Shall I start then?
Yeah. I've introed you, so
Thank you.
over to you, Justine.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Tales and Tunes. I think everyone's been here before, but if you haven't been here before, or even if you have and you've forgotten why on earth we're here, Tales and Tunes is an evening of stories, songs, poems, readings, anything that you want to share with the beautiful people out there in the internet world and the lovely people in our little Zoom world here. And we always start with a bit of extreme storytelling from me, and then we will go round the room in the order that people came in. I haven't asked if everyone here is telling, so I'll just come to you at the time, or at least in the order I saw you, because a couple of you were here before me. And we start roughly at 7 and we finish roughly at 9. That is the plan. I will at some point remember to put my PayPal details in the chat if you would like to donate and chuck some virtual coins in the hat to support my storytelling work, my childcare, my therapy, whatever else it costs me to be here. That would be very much appreciated. Okay, it is April Fool's Day. Well, I suppose it was before midday. So maybe we should have a foolish tale tonight. Let's have a think. So let's do this bit of extreme storytelling. So if you haven't been here before, then what we do for extreme storytelling is I ask for you for 3 facts that I will use to create a story. And then when I need other details in the story, I will ask you and you can shout out, put them in the chat. I will try and get the Facebook live stream on as well. So if you're watching on Facebook live stream, you can stick suggestions in there. But the first thing I need a suggestion for is who or what you would like this story to be about. A person, a hero, an anti-hero. You can shout out, you can put it in the chat. Yes,
Humpty Dumpty.
Humpty Dumpty. Do you know what's really weird? That's the second time that's come up as a suggestion in like a week. Oh, how exciting.
Oh, leave it then. Leave it then.
No, not for storytelling, for an improv thing. Let's have a few more and then we'll pick our favourite. I'm just seeing if I can get any on Facebook saying anything. Lovely. Any more for any more?
A caterpillar.
A caterpillar? A very hungry one? Or just an ordinary one?
No, just one smoking a pipe. Oh, no, smoking a hubble bubble.
Smoking something, who knows?
Well, as in Alice in Wonderland, yeah.
That kind of caterpillar. The one that's sitting on the thing that you eat, yeah? Okay, lovely. Right, I've now got the live stream on. Lovely. Okay, can't see anyone coming to the live stream. So, it is between Humpty Dumpty and a pipe-smoking caterpillar. Or a bubble. I feel like I see a bubble smoke. Like a bubble pipe smoking caterpillar. I don't know why that came into my head. So...
a hooker.
Who knows? Let's have a little wave of hands if you want Humpty Dumpty as your main character. No. Wave of hands if you want your pipe smoking of some description caterpillar as your character. Yes, lovely. It is our caterpillar, lovely, who is smoking his pipe of some description. Lovely. Now we need to decide in our story, what does our caterpillar want more than anything in the world? What is his heart's desire that he's going to go on a journey for or in some way discover in our story? Yes,
to
go,
become
May.
a butterfly.
He wants to get off the drugs.
I could get into terrible trouble with that, but I can find a way around it. Any other suggestions? Oh, wants to become a butterfly.
He wants to have a smoke with John.
Wants to have a smoke with John. How many stories have I made up about you, John, over the years?
Yeah, I know. I keep hearing rumours that nothing to do with me.
You're just like half, like fairy tale character anyway. So either he's going to get off whatever it is that he's smoking, or he's going to become a beautiful butterfly, or his desire is don't you should be smoking with John with that cough. Okay, so votes for he's addicted to like whatever it is that he's smoking, he's trying to get off it. Okay, just me on that one. Votes for he wants to become a beautiful butterfly. No one cares. I've heard that story. Votes for he wants to hang out with John so they can smoke whatever they're smoking together. Or votes for anything else. They're like, we don't care at this point. He's got to go and do something.
Did
All
I
right.
win? Because I was the only one who did it, so I won.
I think you won then. Okay, lovely. So he's going to try and give up whatever it is that he's smoking. How much trouble am I going to get in for this, John? I just want to know before I start
Well,
telling.
I think we could have something like a tobacco addiction.
Do you think tobacco addiction is fine? I was going to go with like bubbles.
Oh, bubbles! I like bubbles. Yes, bubbles.
Like addicted to fairy liquid. Let's go with that.
Yeah, let's go addicted to fairy liquid. I think
Lovely. Alison just said she can't sort the IT. She'll rejoin. Lovely. And who or what? Hi, Penelope.
Hi, so late.
That's all right. We're just getting set up for our extreme story. We've got a caterpillar who loves smoking a bubble pipe, and he's trying to give up his addiction to fairy liquid. We just need to decide who or what is going to try and stop him from giving up his addiction to fairy liquid. Who would want him to stay stuck on the fairy liquid?
The baby, the fairy liquid baby.
The fairy liquid baby. Does everyone know what that is?
Oh yeah, yes, it's, yeah. Well,
He's like how do you describe the fairy liquid? For some reason, this washing up liquid is advertised by this little baby, which like has gone through phases of being a really cute little baby, and currently in the current adverts is wearing biker gear. So we can decide the fairy liquid. So if anyone's watching this kind of on catch up and they don't know what I'm talking about, just Google fairy liquid baby and hopefully you'll know what we're talking about. And apologies to fairy. None of this is based on your wonderful liquid. Maybe I'll just call it washing up liquid. I feel like I'm just going down so many different avenues here. It's fine. Okay.
Other brands are available.
Other brands are available and have the same addictive qualities as I don't know. Let's risk it, shall we? So, once upon a time, there was a caterpillar. And that caterpillar, he lived in his little caterpillar lair, was kind of like a little sort of cave under the ground. And the thing that he loved to do more than anything else, he had this little pipe. And when he blew out of this little pipe, these little bubbles came up into the air. And off they went into the sky. And he loved it. He loved blowing those bubbles. But the problem was that our caterpillar, he couldn't get anything done. Every single day when he thought, oh, I might go to work, I might eat some leaves, I might do something, he would just go, oh, but the bubbles are so pretty. And so he would sit in his little cavern and he would blow his bubbles. And he thought, this is getting too much. I need to do something else with my life. And the only way I can do that is kick my addiction to blowing little bubbles out of my pipe. Now, if you were a caterpillar and you were in your cave and you wanted to do something with your life, but you just couldn't help seeing how beautiful those bubbles were and blowing them every single day, if you couldn't help that, who might you ask for help for you to kick the bubble blowing habit? Let's have some suggestions. You can unmute yourself or write in the chat, up to you.
Ken Pretentious, who did his PhD on bubbles.
Lovely. So, Ken Pretentious.
For those who don't know Ken, he's a clown and a juggler and does a science show for children.
Fabulous. Okay, let's bring him in. So, Colin was a big fan of Ken Pretentious and realised that Ken Pretentious would be the only person that could tell him how he could kick his bubble addicted habit. So he went, not the birds. Who knows? Oh, the birds would help, I see. Anyway, it's getting chaotic already. So he thought he would go and find Ken Pretentious. Where does Ken Pretentious hang out, people? Where might he be? John, you're the fontable knowledge on this. Go for it.
Well, I'd go to the Foolhardy Circus summer camp.
Ah, exactly. So he made his way out of his little cavern, and he did his kind of. Hang on, I'm going to see if I can do caterpillar on here. And he crawled like this. See, look, that's good, isn't it? All the way to Foolhardy's wonderful summer camp, where the lovely Cosmo's there. And he said to Cosmo, "Can you tell me where Ken Pretentious is?" And Cosmo, because he's a clown that has no problem with talking to caterpillars, said, "Yes, of course, you can find him in that tent over there. He's just giving a lecture that all the children are enjoying." So our caterpillar went. Do you like my caterpillar? All the way to the tent where Ken Pretentious was. He said, "Ken Pretentious, I have a problem. I am a caterpillar that wants to go out and achieve things in the world. I can do great things. I could be the prime minister of all the caterpillars and I could solve all the caterpillar problems. But unfortunately, I just cannot stop blowing bubbles out of my bubble pipe at home. And I know that you have done your PhD on bubbles, and I wonder, could you possibly help me and tell me how to stop blowing these bubbles and get on with my life?" And what advice do we think Ken Pretentious gave to our caterpillar? Any ideas?
Well, he said, look, ICI sponsored my PhD. Do you think I'm going to blow any chance of any future funding by telling people not to use bubbles?
He said exactly that. He said, "I can't lose my sponsorship. How will I get my clowning to all the children of the world and get them interested in science if I try to get you to stop?" So the caterpillar said, "Well, I'm going to need to go and find somebody else." So who is he going to ask next? Where else should he look for help in kicking his bubble addiction habit? This is him going along. You could just watch the caterpillar going around. I should do more things in my life. Where should he go next?
He's going to see a yogi.
He's going to see a yogi, lovely. So I know what I need. I need a wise person who can really think this through for me and tell me how I can give this thing up. So he went. Where are we going to find this yogi? I'm just going to keep doing this now. He's got a long walk to go. Where shall we find this yogi? I'm going to go up the side of the screen now. There we go. This is why I like doing Zoom improv. I can do this stuff for hours. Where shall we find this yogi?
Up a mountain?
Up a mountain, of course. So he climbed up and up the mountain. Look at that. Very good. Until at the top of the mountain. Oh, I found something that can be a yogi. There we go. Until he found this. Don't ask me why I have a crocheted octopus next to my laptop. I just do. Till he found the yogi. And he said to the yogi, "Please, can you help me?" Hang on. "Please, can you help me?" It's become a puppet show. "Please, can you help me give up my addiction to bubbles?" And the yogi said, "I have some wise words for you." What are the wise words the yogi's going to give to our little caterpillar? Oh, there's a little caterpillar here.
Look on the wind until it goes pop.
Lovely. So first of all, I've seen Alison through the chat. Alison. According to Alison, our yogi said, "Bubbles are so much fun. Why would you want to give them up?" And the caterpillar said, "Well, because I have to, because I want to do other things." And then the yogi said, say again, John, I wasn't listening the first time.
Ride on the wind until it goes pop.
Oh, he said, "Ride on the wind until it goes pop." The caterpillar said, "Thank you very much." He had no idea what it meant. And he went back down the mountain. This is them going back down the mountain. This is the yogi going up on the mountain. There we go. And he found some wind to ride on. Which wind shall we ride on, my dears? North, east, south, west. Any other winds are also available.
The west wind.
South.
West.
Oh, west.
The west wind. So because he was such a tiny caterpillar, he went to the west wind. And the west wind blew. You're going to have to blow with me now. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And he blew on the west wind all the way until finally he heard a big pop. And he landed. Where do we think he landed? And where did the west wind leave him? Did you leave him at John's house? That's
That's pretty west from there,
not
isn't
very
it?
west, is it? It depends where he was to begin with, doesn't it?
A bit east from East Anglia.
That is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
He's
think
just floating down. I need to know where he lands. Look.
I think he floated down a river that happened to be full of pollution from bubbles, full of bubble pollution, polluted bubbles.
So he
from-
found himself in a river. But this river wasn't a clear, beautiful stream. It was a river that had lots and lots of bubbles. The worst kind of pollution. And to be honest, that put him off. You see, the yogi, hang on, you can see him again. The yogi was right. If you wait until the wind made the big pop sound, you'd be dumped in this horrible river that was covered in all the pollution. And he was thinking, this is it. I can see how terrible this is. I'm going to give up blowing the bubbles. And just as he'd made that decision, coming down from the other side of the river, coming down towards him, was a tiny baby. It was the washing up liquid baby. And it came up too. See, just as I say, there's a tiny baby coming down the river, Baden appears. Anyway, the tiny baby was coming down the river to the caterpillar. And he said, you cannot give up blowing bubbles. You need to, bubbles are fun. We all love bubbles. And the caterpillar said, but I've seen all the pollution these things can do in the world. And the fairy baby said, no, you must keep blowing bubbles. Otherwise, I will trap you in this river forever. Now, our tiny caterpillar. Welcome, Baden. This is a tiny caterpillar and this is the fairy liquid baby. Just go with it. So, given that our caterpillar has to defeat the fairy liquid baby to give up his addiction to bubbles and get out of the polluted river, how is our caterpillar going to defeat the fairy liquid baby? Suggestions, please. They're just battling right now. I don't know why this has become a puppet show. I don't care.
Threatened to tell the baby's mother.
Oh, so the caterpillar said, fairy baby, if you do, hang on, fairy baby, if you do not let me go out of this polluted river, I will tell your mother what you're doing. Fairy baby said, I do not care. Have you not seen the latest adverts? I have leathers and a motorbike. I am not that little pretty baby anymore. You cannot scare me with threats of my mother. Caterpillar went, oh no, what shall I try instead? What should we try next?
Take out its nappy pin.
So the caterpillar said, I shall embarrass you by not having a nappy on. And the caterpillar tried to get to the baby's nappy pin, but the baby, who had been wearing this nappy for many, many years, had already fashioned that pin into a weapon and started stabbing it towards the caterpillar. Caterpillar went, oh no, there must be something that I can do to escape from this river and get back and live my life not blowing bubbles anymore. We have one last shot for this caterpillar to defeat this baby. Something that will definitely work. Hit
Baby
me with
was
it, people.
actually
Yeah.
Gary Scheider, the guitarist with Parliament Funkadelic. And as he went to pick up his guitar to deafen the caterpillar went, grabbed the guitar, ripped off the strings, and turned the guitar into a raft.
Of course, that's exactly what happened. Just what he said. I can't remember all of it. Anyway, so Fairy Baby is actually from Parliament Funkadelic. Did I say that right? Anyway, he starts playing his guitar. Some way around. And the caterpillar takes all the strings off and makes himself a raft. And the raft goes back up the river. And the baby goes, no, now I cannot play my music. I will have to go back to advertising things. And off he went. And the caterpillar went down the river and the west wind picked him up again. And the west wind, you've got to blow like the west wind, ready? And the west wind blew, 1, 2, 3. And the caterpillar went on the west wind all the way back to his tiny little cave. And when he got back to his tiny little cave, he saw his little bubble pipe and he said no more. And he put the bubble pipe aside where he would not be tempted by it. And he went on and he lived his life. And it's true that once he didn't have that addiction to that strange polluting stuff, he went about his life. He became the Prime Minister of all the caterpillars and he solved all caterpillar problems. And all the caterpillars lived happily ever after. The end! Hang on. This guy has to take a bow. The yogi would like to take a bow.
Somebody
Yeah,
gonna
please.
explain to me what the hell's going on?
You have to watch it on catch up.
But
It started out as a story,
No
it became
one till Ken.
Oh yeah, no one tell Ken. Shh. Thank you so much for going on that flight of fantasy with me. I amused myself no end, and hopefully I amused you too. So, the person I have down that I saw first is David. David, are you sharing something with us tonight?
Yeah, as soon as I'm unmuted, yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
All right. Let's
Yeah.
put a spotlight
Uh,
on David, and then
well, good.
Simon, are you sharing something tonight, or are you just watching me, dear? Oh, if you can see me, he's frozen.
Yes, yeah. I'm sharing something. Yeah.
Fabulous. I've got you down next then. All right, David, let me spotlight you. All right. When you are
Right.
ready,
Okay.
off you go.
Simon is back. Yeah,
There we go.
as opposed to black. Okay, so two songs which the first one kind of tells a story. The second one is about a storyteller. And if I have time for them both, if you'd like to stop me after one, I'm perfectly happy.
I'll see how long the first one is.
Okay.
Go for it.
My young love said to me, my mother won't mind, and my father won't slight you, for you're a lack of kind. And she stepped away from me, and this she did say, it will not be long till our wedding day. As she stepped away from me, and she moved through the fair, so fondly I watched her move here and move there, and she turned then homeward with one star away, like the swan in the evening moved over the lake. Now the people were saying no to e'er were wed, but one had a sorrow that never was said. And I smiled as she passed with her goods and her gear, and that was the last that I saw of my dear. Last night she came to me, my dead love came in. So softly she came, that her feet made no din, and she laid her hand on me, and this she did say, it will not be long till our wedding day. Sinead.
Oh, I love that song. I saw
Move
May said
to-
it in the chat as well. Yeah. Let's do the next one.
Okay, if we have time,
Yeah, we're good.
this is called The Bard. It was written by the late Steve Thomason. I am the bard, the storyteller. In me the old tales they still live. And so the world goes on forever. The old tales still their comfort give. My song began when the earth was younger, and when the old gods walked the land. The heart of man was filled with wonder at the seasons turned by the old gods' hands. I used my tales to warn of danger, of jack-o'-lanterns' impish ways, to comfort friend and welcome stranger, to speed through winter's iron days. I am the bard, the storyteller. In me the old tales, they still live. And though the world goes on forever, the old tales still their comfort give. My tales brought rest to lovers parted by foreign wars and icy seas. For though they lay quite broken hearted, the old songs brought their hearts some ease. Old tales, old songs, old gods' past glories, I lay before you as I stand. And as you hear these fine old stories, give thanks that bards still walk this land. For I am the bard, the storyteller. In me the old tales, they still live. And though the world goes on forever, the old tales still their comfort give. Yes, the old tales still their comfort give.
Yay!
There we go.
Thank you. I've not heard that before. I feel like I should have done. Do
It's
the other storytellers here, do we know that song? No. Who did you say it was by again?
Steve Thomason.
Steve
That's
Thomason.
Thomason.
That's so lovely. Thank you for that.
He,
Feels like that should be on the World Storytelling Cafe a lot more.
I was just going to say, it's very much a storyteller's theme, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a great song.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
fabulous.
written in, I believe, the mid-80s.
Okay.
And Steve does have a site on, I think it's SoundCloud.
Okay.
Look him up. There's loads of his songs on there.
Fabulous.
But he died about 3 years ago, I think.
Okay.
So, yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was fabulous. All right. Next up, Simon, are you ready to share? You unmute yourself and then I will spotlight
Okay.
you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I've got two poems.
Fabulous.
One medium size and one shortish size. So the first one's called Equilux Past. The now northward travelling sun crosses the equator, so let us rejoice in the return to the light and look to the blueness of the heavens, seeing beyond to the infiniteness of the universe and ourselves. And we, on our singular journeys, immerse our beings in the ancient ways that now, immediate and fresh, let us be born again from the tired mother of winter. We bathe our new bodies in the thawed lake that manifests itself pristine, perfect, pure. Changed and birthed anew, we don our white robes and again dream our co-created paradises. We have been baptized, Christed for the millionth time, each time the same and in the same place where no time exists and repetition impossible, but we still repeat our age-old ritual and rest in its archaic newness. We live in an inexplicable koan. Our useless minds tired give way to beauty. Moment presents itself and laughing, we spin, our dervish beings whirling in ecstasy. And this one's called Orange.
That was lovely, by the way. I was kind of
Thank you very
lost in
much.
the words. So, all right, go.
Right. By way of contrast, orange. What if orange was a verb? To orange would be to fake, pretend, lie, conceal, to bully, cajole, humiliate, throw in a measure of cognitive decline and a knack for tapping into mindless capitalistic populism. Then we see millions who are oranged into submission. Lives broken, souls lost in an eternal hellish orangery.
Wow.
Wow.
That's great.
Wow.
Love
Excellent.
that.
Thank you.
Can I just
Awesome.
ask Simon who or what he might be talking about? No, don't answer.
Yeah, well, I'm not
Don't
quite
even-
sure. I've forgotten.
Who knows? They were both amazing, Simon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. I've either got John or Evita next. I can't read my own writing. Fight it out amongst you. Shall we go? Can I go Evita
John.
first and then John?
Oh, all right. Oh, Norman's just hopping on.
Yeah, let's get Norman in. There we go.
John, what would you prefer?
Happy up to
John,
now,
you're
so I
mute.
think it ought to be you.
Okay. All right.
Lovely. Okay, Evita, let me spotlight you, my love. Hi, Norman. Oh, no, there we go. There you are.
My beautiful friend. Hello, Norman. Nice. All right. Just in time.
Oh.
I feel very honored that I get to share a story with you that is just over 48 hours old. You know how it happened. It's a story that is brand new, but it's also holding in its heart a very old fable. So a story within the story. I think we always learn a lot from children. Children are amazing. I mean, we live in very challenging times. And children the world over are just so capable of finding small moments of joy, no matter what's going on around them. And because I'm around children a lot, and so is John, I think, in Transylvania, you just get to witness that all the time. And so, you know, trying not to think about everything that's going on in the world, but finding it important to witness, I just let the story come. A story, let it come. Let it come. The ocean refuses no river, no river. The ocean refuses no river, no river. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. Very, very, very far from here, but not long ago at all, there was a group of children who used to go and play at a very long beach every day. Oh, they would delight in building forts and castles, and the sea would wash them away at a moment's notice, and they'd squeal with delight when their feet got wet. Now, you know how children are. They really, really live in the moment. But we also know that children are very, very observant. So they saw, out of the corner of their eyes, a woman, an older woman, come down to the beach just before sunset every evening. She wore a long kind of dress. She would walk right up to the shore until her feet got wet and the hem of her dress was kissed by the waves. She always held the same tiny turquoise-colored flask. She would look out at the sea. Then she'd undo the little tiny stopper and turn over that little flask. "It's 3, said the girl. "It's always 3. I saw." "Yes," said the children. "I wonder what she's doing." "I don't know." And soon they were back at play. But of course, because this happened every day, they couldn't forget about her. So some of the children told their parents, "There is this lady that comes down to the beach with a flask, and every day she just drops something into the ocean." "Huh," scoffed Dad. "Sounds weird to me. Just tomorrow, go play a bit further down the beach. Don't go near strange people. You know the deal." His wife laughed and said, "Darling, baby, what's going on with you? She's probably just trying to be like the little grey parrot." "What grey parrot, Mama? What grey parrot?" "Ah, you don't know that story yet. The story about the brave little grey parrot." A story, Mama, a story." They called their friends from the other houses, and the children gathered at the woman's feet. And she said, "This is a story that exists all over the world amongst First Nation people. It is about a very brave little bird." For you see, the little grey parrot lived in a beautiful forest, a jungle-like forest. It was very happy there, and so were the other animals too. But one day it so happened that there was a great thunderstorm. Oh, the sky was growling and thundering, and flashes were zipping across it like crazy. And one of the flashes of lightning hit a very old dried up tree. There was no rain, so that tree blazed alight, and the wind, laughing, whipped up those flames. Woo! Woo! And soon the flames jumped from tree to tree, and a great fire started. The animals were running and flapping and flying and crawling and sneaking to get away from that great fire. They went to the safety of the riverbank. The little grey parrot looked back. She felt a bit sad that her friends the trees were going to be burned, and she decided, we should do something. Come on, help, help. The animals just looked at her. What can we do? We're just animals. But the little bird dove into the water of the river until her wings were wet and took a beak full of water. And then she flew back over the fire and she began to flap her little wings really fast and opened her beak. And the water, of course, fell down. Just hissing and drying up immediately in those flames. But the little parrot went back and forth, back and forth. The other animals began to laugh at it and say, what do you think you are doing? It's just one little parrot. You're not going to put out that great big fire. But we must try, we must try. Come help me, come help me. It's a fool's errand, the other animals said. And the forest spirits watched too. Some of them laughed and said, can you see that little determined grey bird trying to put out a fire all by itself? They watched as the bird kept diving back in and coming, and the feathers at the end were starting to get singed. Then one of the forest spirits felt sorry and turned himself into an eagle and went up and said, stop, stop, little bird. You cannot put out this fire. But the little bird said, I can do my best. I can try. I can do my best. That so touched Eagle, the eagle spirit, that he decided he was going to help little parrot. And he brought on a big rain of tears. And those tears were falling down, pitter-patter, 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 until it was a deluge of water, slowly but surely putting out that fire. Whoa, said the animals. That was amazing. But do you know what else was amazing? The wet feathers, the droplets on the little grey parrot's wings began to shine as the sun looked over the clouds. They began to sparkle in all colours of the rainbow. You tried your best, little eagle, Sun and Spirit Eagle said. You get to keep those colours for the rest of your life. And little parrot, you all know what she looks like. She's the rainbow lorikeet. Yay, Mummy, that was a great story. Thank you. Do you really think that old lady is being the parrot? I don't know. Why don't you go and ask her? So the next afternoon, the children went back to the beach and they walked up to the lady, not too shyly. Hello, children. Are you like the little grey parrot? One child asked. We're sorry to tell you, but there's no fire here. The old lady nodded sagely and she said, you are not just a drop in the ocean. You are an entire ocean in a drop. Oh, that's very strange, she thought. Children said, what does it mean? You will have to think about that. Okay, the children went home and they said, she gave us a riddle, Mama. She gave us a riddle. She said that we're not a drop in the ocean, but an entire ocean in one drop. What does she mean? Now, Mother, interest was piqued and she said, you know what, children? I'd like to come and meet that old lady. Come with us, the children shouted. And the next afternoon, they went together to the beach. Would she come today? Do you think she came? Of course she did. She came walking down to the shore. She held out her little flask, and the children went right up with the mother and said, what's in it? What's in your beautiful little bottle? And the old lady held the bottle to her heart and said, oh, they are my tears. Oh, tears, are they? Ah, okay, the children said. You know how children are. And they walked off to play. They didn't need to know anything more. Mark my words, people. Children are quite happy just having a direct answer. But Mother stayed. Whose tears are they, grandmother? There are mine, she said, opened the stopper, and dripped in 1, 2, 3 tears. For you see, she said to the woman, to the mother, there is so much hurt, trouble and pain in this world. All I can do is come here and witness and contribute my tears, so that the ocean level may rise high enough one day to wash away all that pain. Then mother took the woman's hands, and together they sat down and watched the sun set. There is so much magnificence in the ocean. Waves are coming in, waves are coming in. Thank you.
Oh, that was beautiful, Evita. Thank you so
That's
much.
beautiful. Yeah,
Ah,
That was
I
really
love
good.
yeah.
Oh, love
roomy. Bit of roomy.
that. I love
Oh,
that. I
this
feel
story,
like
by
that
the
thing.
way, this story, by the way, is dedicated to an Australian storyteller called Lily Pang.
Mm.
She's not here today, but I'll let her know, and then she can watch it, because she always inspires me. She
Oh,
knows what.
Yeah, I'm hoping Lily's going to come to our next 10 o'clock in the morning one, a global story round. I shall
Oh,
let
that would be
Lily-
fantastic.
I shall let Lily know it's on.
Oh, that was so
Thank you.
beautiful. Thank you. It reminded me of you can feed rainbow lorikeets, and we did it last time we went to Colchester Zoo, and I just had the image of those little birds. They're just so it's lovely. All right. Next up we have John, and then I think it's May after that. Does that sound about right? Okay, lovely. Mr. Rowe, follow that.
Right. Well, I'm going to do one I haven't done before. In fact, I've never told it before. I think I've just got the bare bones in my head. So,
Fabulous. New stories, birthing. I love it.
well, it's a Romanian Jack story,
Fab.
and it's a mother's darling Jack.
Hmm.
And I think anyone who's sort of been relying on Google Maps to get to where they're going, and their phone has died, or they've been in an area with no connection and they get totally lost, will relate to this story. I used to carry maps. Anyway, so there was a couple, and the wife, they'd had 6 children, and they had a 7th. And you know, it's like with the youngest child, you sort of make a lot of fuss of it. And his name was Jack, inevitably. And Jack was fussed over, and oh God, anything Jack wanted, Jack got. And he got a bit lazy, and he got a bit relaxed, you know, and no one could do anything, because if Dad shouted at him, Mum got it, Dad, and there'd be all sorts of rows in the house about bringing up the child, and don't be unkind to him. And if he did anything Mum wanted to tell him off, she made sure that Dad never saw. And it was quite easy, because Dad was Dad was out of work most of the time, and Mum, he just came home to sleep really, and Mum looked after all these children. And Jack grew, and he grew like he always does. And Dad tried to teach him how to use a plough, and he had no idea really. He didn't listen. He just took no notice at all. Didn't even know where to put the pin to keep the yoke in. Anyway, so gets to that point where Dad's going off to market, taking the cart with him. Dad, can I come? Can I come? No, no, no. You'll only get lost. You'll only get lost in the market. No, no, I want to come, want to come, want to come, want to come, want to come. All right. Just shut up and get on the cart. He gets in the cart. Now, he's never been out much, and it's all a bit, he just stays motionless. And then he gets a bit of confidence, and he goes and he leans against the edge of the cart, and he looks over the side. He's really confused. How can the wheels be going round and stay where they are? And then he looked out, and there were trees passing by, and it looked like the trees were moving. And he leapt off of the cart, and he saw the cart disappear, and sisters, "Father, Father, Father!" But of course, there was this great echo. He'd never heard an echo before, and it was just, oh God, Dad never heard. And he tried to start to make his way home. And he hadn't the faintest idea where he was going. And he soon got lost. And he wandered into a village. And if you're up in this mountain, you just walk through, and you come across these little villages in the middle of nowhere. And he bumps into this man. He's crying his eyes out. And his mum said, where are you from? He said, "Village." He said, "What's your dad's name?" "Father." Well, getting nothing out of him, he said, "Well, you better come work for me as a ploughboy." Well, the first thing he did was, the man says, "Look, can you grease the cart?" Well, he had no idea about greasing the cart. He'd never listened to the thing his dad said. So he gets this pot of grease, and he starts greasing the handles, and he starts greasing the shaft, and he soon ran out of grease, and he said, "Can I have another pot of grease?" I said, "What do you mean you've used this whole pot?" He said, "Well, I've greased the handle, I've greased the shaft." And Idiot. Grease the wheels. Well, he greased the wheels. Get on the back of the cart. We're going off to market. Don't say a word. Don't want to hear a thing out of you. Useless. Well, Jack's sitting there, and he's doing exactly as he's told. He's staying completely silent. He's determined to be obedient now. And he sees the pin come out of the wheel. Just hears it clink on the ground. But he says nothing. And then he sees the nut undo itself because the pin's not holding it on anymore. He sees it fall. He thinks that wheel's going to fall off in a minute, but I'm not allowed to say anything. So he kept completely quiet. Crack! Wheel falls off. Farmer, he says to the farmer, he said, I told you that was going to happen. No, you didn't. Well, you told me to be quiet. Well, get out. Well, Jack finds himself wandering down the road again. Not the faintest idea where he is. And he comes across a shepherd with a flock of sheep. And he tells the shepherd this story. And the shepherd said, "Well, you can look after my sheep." He said, "They're not any ordinary sheep because there was a rare breed that the emperor had. And he gave me one lamb. And these are all bred from that. There's not sheep like it in the world. Be careful. At night, can you take them into the fold?" Now, we're talking about a fold up on the mountain with a sort of straw roof and leaves and sort of temporary structure. And can you light a little fire to make sure my sheep stay warm? It's a cold night. Well, Jack looks at it, and he finds the doorway, and he lights a little fire in the doorway. And he gets the ram, and he pulls the ram in. And of course, the ram's going through the fire and sets its wool on fire. And Jack thinks, that's what he means by keeping it warm. So he brings every sheep in, and all the wool's burnt off, and eventually the whole place catches fire. "God, I'm doing well," said Jack. "I wish that old farmer could see me now. Well, as it was, the farm was down this little cottage at the bottom of the mountain, having his foot. And he looks up and he sees the fire at the mountain. He comes running up. There's his precious flock. They were just little balls of burnt flesh. And chases Jack out. Jack's going down the road, and he spies a hollow tree. Thinks, I'll sleep in that. While he was sleeping, he heard these voices. There were 3 robbers, and they were cooking meat on a spit. The smell of that meat cooking come out, and Jack's hungry, and he's got no idea about robbers. And he crawls out and he says, excuse me, I'm a bit hungry. Could I have a bite? And they all got out. They turn around him, and you don't want to disturb 3 thieves in the middle of the day. They get out their knives and they're about to cut up Jack when there's a one-eyed thief. He says, no, he might be useful. He said, because a debtor had just paid off his debt to the king, and that debt is put in the king's in the money house and it's all locked up with iron locks, and the only way that you can undo those locks is with iron wart. And I've looked up iron wart. It's used as a medicine for all sorts of things. And I couldn't see any reference to it being melting metal or anything, but anyway, appears so in this story. So can you go and find some iron wart? Well, the only reason they knew about this because they'd gone to a witch for a bit of advice, and the witch had told them about the iron wart. And they needed an innocent boy to find it, so he sent off Jack, and he sees this plant glistening, and he takes it back. And the one-eyed man, he's got he had escaped, and with his chains and everything from jail, but he still had his chains on and handcuffs, and he got the chains off, but the handcuffs just wouldn't come off, and the metal was just too hard. But Jack got the iron wart and took the handcuffs off. And he gave the good thieves the iron wart, and they went to undo the locks, and the king's in the treasury, but nothing worked because the iron wart had to be used by an innocent person. And they're going to kill Jack at this point. They've lost all patience. But the Iron Man said, no. The one-eyed man said, no. We did promise we weren't going to kill him if he found the iron wart. He found the iron wart. Now, there's thieves are many things, but if they've made a promise, they keep the promise. So they didn't kill him, but instead they put him in a barrel. And they put iron rings around the barrel. They went off and just left the barrel there. Well, they had a bunghole in the side. And this wolves start coming round it, sniffing it out. Poor old Jack is terrified. Whole pack of wolves around him. And one starts putting its tail through the bung. When the tail's through, Jack grabs that tail. And the wolf comes running down the hill. Smack, 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 smack. The barrel's this way, it's going that way. And it then bashes into the wall. There's Jack, back home, with his darling mother. It was a bit of a journey, but he did get fed well. And all he had in one hand, for all his troubles, was a wolf's tail.
Awesome. I love a new Jack story. It's fabulous. Where did you get that one from, John?
It's a Romanian one.
Yeah.
I found it in, I don't know.
Somewhere.
I was just scrolling through some Romanian tales.
I love it. I love a Jack story. That's just because I'm autistic. I love people that take stuff literally.
I quite like it that it's sort of circular, and I love that bit of sort of just being lost and
Yeah.
And he doesn't get any better through the story as well. You know. But Mum loves him anyway.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
main thing.
Gorgeous. Right. Next up, we have the lovely May. Are you ready, my dear?
Just give me a minute. Am I able to do a screen share, Justine, or not?
I honestly don't know.
No?
Let me hang on. Let me spotlight you and let me see if you can. Da, da, da. I don't know if I can allow you to screen share. Do you have another way of doing it, my love?
Yeah, I tried to post it in chat. It's fine. I just thought it'd be quite nice because so it's a bit from my forthcoming novel, if that's okay,
Yes.
to read it. But it's quite nice because it's actually someone's done a painting, like an oil painting of this chapter. So I was sort of hoping
Oh, wow.
to share
Oh,
that. But anyway, I did promise say that the big reveal was going to be later anyway. But I just thought, so it's probably maybe it's just as well. Anyway,
cool.
it's actually 1,700 words, which is about 8 minutes. I can
That
do.
is fine, my love. Yeah,
Are you
that's
sure?
fine. Go for it. We're good. We're good. We've got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a little bit of feedback on your mic. I don't know if there's like, it's just like it's kind of, I don't know if
How's
you're
that?
close.
If
I
I get a
think,
bit closer, how's that?
yeah, I think that's all right. It's just there's a little, is everyone all right? There's a little bit of buzzing, but we can still hear you. So
A minute. Are you sure? I mean, is
yeah,
it unpleasant to listen to?
it's fine. I can manage. Everyone else all right? Thumbs up if you are. Yeah, they're saying it's fine. It's good.
So no, I hate buzzing. I hate anything like that. Right. Okay. If it fades off, Justine, if you just interrupt me and just say, oh, speak up a bit.
Yeah, I will do. Go for it, my love.
Okay, so this is my novel and it's called The Women Who Saved Shakespeare. And it's in the voice of Elizabeth, who's kind of the lowest class of the ladies. And she was quite lonely, but she sort of met these ladies. And this is her first time at the Grand Burlington House to meet the other ladies of the Shakespeare Ladies Club. Right, chapter 34. On the following Saturday, I was shown into the grand entrance hall of Burlington House. It had the reputation of being one of the finest London residences, and it more than lived up to it. It was even larger and more opulent than the entrance hall at Montague House, although I would never have dared say as much to the Duchess. As Susanna had promised, Lady Burlington was extremely welcoming and pleasant, but rather than show us into the drawing room, as I expected, she insisted that we first take a tour about the house. By the time we'd mounted the second set of stairs, I was certain that my exclamations of delight over this portrait, that statue, or that vase were beginning to sound a little hollow. But Lady Burlington appeared not to notice. Or perhaps she simply didn't care how her audience took it. After all, the Duchess was not even attempting to show any interest, quite the reverse. Each time Lady Burlington said we should raise our eyes to a certain archway designed by her husband, or a particularly fine section of plasterwork he had commissioned, the Duchess would sigh and pointedly look in any direction rather than the one indicated. Susanna seemed to be genuine in her compliments, but whenever Lady Burlington was facing away from her, I noticed her eyes sought out any clock or clocks contained within each room, and each case settled rather despondently on the position of the hands. At last we were led into the drawing room and invited to sit. As we waited for our tea, Lady Burlington looked up to the ceiling and was no doubt about to regale us with the origins of the Grecian design, when the Duchess drew her attention to a young girl standing awkwardly in the doorway. "There you are, Mary," Lady Burlington said. "I'm so glad you could join us. Miss Cowper is a poet too," she told me as the girl came hesitantly towards us. "Miss Cowper?" I said in surprise. I had written several poems for the Cowper family. It was strange I hadn't recognised her. But then the girl's eyes were so fixedly cast down that I had not yet seen all of her face. "Miss Cowper," I said again, a little more gently. "How lovely to see you." I tried to catch her in a smile, but she seemed determined not to look up at me. Miss Cowper is quite the admirer of yours, Miss Boyd. Isn't that so, Mary? The girl gave not the slightest reaction and seemed to have entered some kind of trance. Come, Susanna said, gently patting the place next to her. Sit down here by me. Miss Cowper remained perfectly still, but when Susanna repeated come with just a little more force, she gave a slight nod and perched herself down on the edge of the seat. The Duchess cleared her throat. I think we should start the meeting, she said, then dramatically raised one finger aloft. Item 1. We need to improve the quality of the theatre. Agreed, said Lady Burlington. Item 2, the Duchess said, her middle finger now joining the first. We will strive for an increased proportion of Shakespeare. She held up a third finger. And item 3, we must... I believe that's quite enough to be getting on with for now, Lady Burlington said, signalling to one of the servants. We don't want to exhaust ourselves. She turned then to the maid. Tea, I think, and do bring some of those little almond biscuits, she said, smiling at Susanna. I believe they are your favourites. And item 3, said the Duchess, once more glaring at the Countess. We should elevate the sensibility of the theatre-going public, thus improving morality in general. And what do you think of that? Lady Burlington said, laughing and turning to her young friend. Miss Cowper's face looked entirely blank. Yes, Lady Burlington said, turning back to the Duchess. They are very good ideas in the main. I shall write to Mr. Pope and see what can be done. Mr. Pope, the Duchess cried. What need have we of Mr. Pope? Rather than answering her, Lady Burlington proceeded to tell myself and Miss Cowper about the generosity and genius of her very good friend, Mr. Alexander Pope. But we are a ladies' club, the Duchess said. Miss Boyd gave us our name, and I intend to hold true to it. It is a very good name, Lady Burlington said, nodding politely in my direction. But when one has a personal relationship with London's finest Shakespearean scholar, it would be foolish not to ask for his assistance. Do you think me foolish? The Duchess said, setting down her teacup with unnecessary force. No, of course not, Lady Burlington laughed. I only meant that I would be a fool for not using my best resource. And of course there is my husband, the Earl. He is very well connected to the world of the theatre. There are to be no men, the Duchess snapped, no famous friends, and certainly no husbands. Ah, but there, my husband is not your husband. It is entirely different. So, Miss Cowper, Susanna said, clearly trying to break the tension, do you have a favourite play? The girl bit her lip and looked down at her lap. I wondered if she knew anything of Shakespeare at all. Or maybe she was merely some pet of Lady Burlington's. I did not linger on this thought, knowing it might lead to a speculation about whether I could be considered a pet of Susanna's. Do you like Twelfth Night? Susanna said, still trying to extract a verbal response from the girl. It is one of Miss Boyd's favourite. Not particularly, Miss Cowper said at last. Then after a pause, I don't really like the comedies. Oh dear, Susanna laughed. Poor Viola. But after all, I said, at last taking a turn in the conversation, Viola is so much more than a comic character. Yes, Miss Cowper said, wrinkling her brow. I suppose. You prefer tragedy, then? The Duchess concluded. The girl nodded. Yes, I like Hamlet, and her hands twitched nervously in her lap as she tried to recall another of her favourites. Macbeth, perhaps, Susanna prompted. King Lear. The corners of Miss Cowper's mouth raised just a little. Yes, those two. How old are you? I asked, unable to suppress my curiosity any longer. She stiffened, lowered her head and whispered an inaudible answer. She's 17, Lady Burlington said, speaking on her behalf. I was amazed. At 17, I had thought myself an adult, yet Miss Cowper still seemed very much like a child. Hamlet and Macbeth are very good plays, Lady Burlington said, although I never really took to Lear. From there the conversation flowed a little more easily, as we spoke of which plays we liked best and which characters we all preferred. It became more pleasant still when the Duchess and Lady Burlington at last found some common ground in their particular enjoyment of the character of Queen Cleopatra, both agreeing that she was most delightfully awful. And of course, Lady Burlington concluded, Alfred Vane said the writing of Cleopatra made Shakespeare an honorary woman, so accurate was his portrayal of our sex. I hope not, says Susanna. You recall her poor messenger? Did she not threaten to skin him alive? No, I said. She only wanted him whipped with wire and stewed in brine. The Duchess suddenly grasped my hand. How wonderful to remember so precisely. You have shown your mettle again, Miss Boyd. I flushed with pleasure. For all my former objections to her company, I now found myself beginning to like the Duchess very much. Seeing her speak with such animation, her cheeks flushed, her eyes bright, I wondered that I should ever have felt so in awe of her. Thus continued our discussions, as the clock on the mantelpiece tried to keep pace. Never before had I felt so utterly engaged while talking with anyone other than Susanna. Never would I have thought I would feel so relaxed and happy in the company of a woman such as the Duchess. Soon, even Miss Cowper gained the confidence to speak freely. She no longer seemed quite so young, and I soon realised her knowledge of Shakespeare was quite extensive. More tea was brought, more almond biscuits, and some small fruitcakes topped with marzipan icing and cherries. There was a pause in the conversation as we ate and drank, during which time I turned to look at the huge gilt-framed mirror that hung on the wall. What a fine portrait it would make, I thought. Ladies of learning with fruit-cake and cherries. Certainly, I decided. It would better suit the modern taste than the Duke of Montague's copied frescoes, or any one of Lord Burlington's ancient artefacts. It was almost 9 o'clock when we at last took our leave, and we might have stayed even longer, except that Lady Burlington's husband was expected soon after. Once settled in Susanna's carriage, however, I realised quite how tired I was, and was grateful to be on my way back home. Did you enjoy yourself? Susanna asked. Sleepily I nodded. And did you think the Duchess so very bad this time? I admitted how much I had enjoyed her company, how much I had enjoyed the company of them all. I am so glad, she said, for now we really are a proper club. Later that night, when I was in bed, I found myself whispering the name we had chosen, the Shakespeare Ladies' Club, at the same time recalling the reflection I had seen in the mirror, ladies of learning with fruit-cake and cherries. Then I thought of my brother, how he had complained of the contagion of women's education. Perhaps it is true, I thought with a smile. Perhaps soon all the women of London will be subject to the deliciousness of our disease.
That was great. Thank you. I can picture it. Was that so? Did somebody draw, like, paint you the ladies of? Is it on your social media? Is it on your Facebook?
It's not, like I said, I'm not supposed to share it yet, but I really wanted to.
Okay,
But
everyone's just gonna have to follow May until, like, she decides to put it
Yeah,
out.
I loved the teapot being put down with unnecessary.
Yeah. Oh, your world building's amazing, May. I love it. I just feel like I'm there.
Sorry, could I just ask, because I mean, you know, it's very exciting, but I'm going to be doing, I need to do a reading at Drury Lane Theatre. So we're going to have the painting, and I'm going to do a reading, and I really wanted to test it on you. Does it, so it comes across, it's not confusing, yeah?
Yeah, it's lovely. It's great. You can kind of
You've
get the
got a
sense of, like, the
fantastic
ladies.
reading voice.
Yeah.
And it's good
very clear
writing.
indeed.
Good
Yeah.
writing and very well read.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's
If
fabulous.
anyone has got some advice, I mean, you know, because I really respect you all, you speak very well. If anyone's got any thoughts about, oh, you could do this, you could do that, if you put them in the chat, I'd be really grateful, because it's sort of, I'm terrified, really. I don't know if I should be doing it, but
May,
yeah,
here's some
No,
advice
no.
from you.
that'd be amazing.
Don't confuse yourself. Do what you're doing. You're doing
Okay.
fantastically well.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Good.
Thanks, everyone.
And
that's correct.
yeah, you sound like one of the characters when you feel apprehension about reading to them. And so I started imagining you as the person. So
Yeah.
I'd say just relax and have a biscuit.
The portrait, the Elizabeth Boyd character, who is a real poet in the 18th century, is modelled on me. So,
Yay! That's awesome. Oh, thank you.
Well,
I feel
one
like we
thing
really
is
treated to
you,
like.
that you didn't have fruitcake to hand round to us all.
well, I would.
I wish.
Here we go. Virtual fruitcake.
Virtual fruitcake, everybody.
Good
Very
point.
nice, the virtual fruitcake. And
May,
I have,
now
yeah, we
that
have the tea.
May, now that you've had that lovely feedback, turn to your right or left, wherever your inner critic is sitting, and tell her to put a sock in it, as we say in Australia.
Well, I
You've
really
had
Yeah.
great feedback, so
Good point.
just trust yourself.
thank you.
Yeah.
I've been terrified. I've been absolutely terrified with mood swings and but thank you. It means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh,
you've got
great.
this. You've got this. It's fabulous. And thank
Yeah.
you for sharing it with us. I feel like we're really honoured to kind of get that first. I know. I can't
Yeah,
wait
well
for the
done,
book to be
well
out because
done.
you've read us like these beautiful extracts, and I'm like, I want to read the whole thing now. Oh, it's fabulous. Right. So next up, I have Pelagie, and then I've got Baden, and then Norman, and hopefully I haven't missed anyone else. So that's the order, if that's all right with you guys. Yeah. Okay. Let us spotlight the lovely Pelagie. You'll need to unmute, my love. There you go. Oh, you're still muted.
I should be unmuted.
There you are.
Right,
Go for
okay.
it.
So if everybody else can mute, that would be lovely. I've got two
Yes.
poems for you. One actually follows quite nicely from what we've just had, because there's a mention of women's education on that. This is called Summer's End. It's a poem by Nicola Carter. Late afternoon shadows lengthen on a college lawn. Shadows cast by trees planted long ago. So many generations sought their shade, while an empire rose and fell, and the war to end all wars proved not to be the end. Hear echoes of that lost generation. Pray we do not tread that road again. A woman takes her ease on a wooden bench, dressed for summer in cool cotton, a floral print in pastel shades. Hair now streaked with grey, caught back, dressed with a filigree slide. Smiling, she remembers the day she first sat here, a young woman on the cusp of adulthood, nervous, thirsty for knowledge, for a chance her brothers claimed as of right. Sitting with friends, in those days well chaperoned. Exotic creatures in this world of men, unknown and dangerous. Pioneers, meeting a path for their sister to follow. The first women to be admitted here. Walk on, past late summer borders bright with flowers. Gaudy dahlias, so loved by the Victorians, now return to favour. Rudbeckia, golden and orange, glowing flames caressed by soft sunlight. Sweet-scented heliotrope, now past its best, while Michaelmas daisies hint at autumn still to come. Old roses, clove-scented, climb venerable walls. The mellow brick of the master's lodging, sash windows open to admit a gentle breeze. Glimpse the fellow's garden through an open gate. The old sundial, surrounded by lavender, a haven for late working bees. Pass on, cross manicured lawns towards a newer building, all glass and open spaces looking to the future. Quiet conversations over wine, canapes. Old friends and colleagues reminisce, toasting absent friends. A garden party at Summer's End. Now, that's my first one, Nicola Carter. Thank you.
That's lovely. So atmospheric. Next one, please.
Yeah. Next one, rather different. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I had to disappear earlier. I was coughing so much. Right. It's called Golden Mothers Driving West. The inevitable call came from the Alzheimer's nursing home. Mummy had been sitting there in an armchair for 2 years, in a top-story room with 2 other aged ladies, Deborah O'Donoghue and Maureen Timoney. The call was to say that between 3 and 5 a.m, the 3 of them had gone missing from the room. At first, it was thought that all 3 had slipped out the window, ajar in the hot, humid night. But no, there were no torsos in the flower bed. It transpired that a car had also gone missing. Was it thinkable they had commandeered a car? At 5 in the afternoon, the police called to say that a Polish youth in a car wash in Kinnegad had washed and hot waxed a car for 3 ladies, all of whom were wearing golden dressing gowns. Standard issue golden dressing gowns, worn by all the inmates of the Alzheimer's nursing home. Why he remembered them was that he was struck by the fact that all 3 ladies were laughing for the 10 minutes it took him to wash the car. I'm surprised, he stated, by laughter. At 9 p.m, the car was sighted in Tarmanbarry, on the Roscommon side of the River Shannon, parked at the jetty of the Emerald Star Marina. At 9:30 p.m, a female German child was taken to the police station at Longford by her stepfather. The 11-year-old had earlier told her stepfather, in the cabin of their hired 6-berth river cruiser, that she had seen 3 ladies jump from the bridge. Her stepfather had assumed his daughter imagined it, as she was, he told police, a daydreamer born. The girl repeated her story to the police, how 3 small, thin, aged ladies with white hair, all at once, together, jumped from the bridge, their dressing gowns flying behind them in the breeze. What colours were the dressing gowns? She was asked. They're wearing gold, she replied. Wreathed on the weir, downstream from the bridge, police sub-aqua divers retrieved the 3 bodies, one of whom, of course, was my own emaciated mother, whose fingerprints were later found on the wheel of the car. She had been driving west to Westport on the west coast of Ireland, in the county of Mayo, where she had grown up with her mother and sisters in the War of Independence and the Civil War. Driving west to Streamstown, 3 miles outside Westport, where, on afternoons in September 1920, ignoring the roadblocks and the assassinations, they used to walk down Sunnyside by the sea's edge, the curlews, the oyster catchers, the upturned black curras drying out on the stones, and picnic on the maca grass above the seaweed, under the chestnut trees turning autumn gold, and the fuchsia bleeding like troops of crimson tutued ballerinas in the black hedgerows. Excuse me. Standing over my mother's carcass in the morgue, a sheep's skull on a slab, a girl in her birth gown blown across the sand. I shut my eyes. Thank you, O Golden Mother, for giving me a life, spear of rain. After a long life, searching for a little boy who lives down the lane, you never found him, you never gave up. In your afterlife nightie, you are pirouetting expectantly for the last time. That was by Paul Durcan. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Who was it by again? Just say that again, Penelope.
Second.
Write that down.
It's called Golden Mothers Driving West.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's actually in this one. It's in Being Human.
Oh, okay. Oh, brilliant. Thank you.
Mm.
I always
You
like to
got-
know where they come from. That was fabulous. Ah, we've had such treats tonight, which will only follow with Mr. Prince Jr. coming next. Are you up,
Well,
Aidan?
it's all downhill from here.
All right.
I'm gonna make like a very early announcement of the fact that I'm working on a storytelling show,
Ooh.
and I was planning to do a piece from that show earlier on, but I've decided not to in light of some of the stuff that I've heard because pales into insignificance beside what I've been hearing. So instead, and I was hoping that May wasn't going to do some poetry because then I wouldn't be able to do what I'm going to do next, which is a couple of poems, one average, the other quite short, if that's okay with everybody. How are we doing for time?
We're fine for time. We've got until 9 o'clock, so we can fit you
Okay,
in, and then we can fit Norman in. We're good. We're good.
well, yeah, Norman, good luck with that. No, I'm only joking. So the first poem, because I've been in quite a reflective mood recently, and I'm working on a number of projects, including this forthcoming storytelling show. You've all been warned. And I'm also planning to produce I've gone back to my poetry, and I'm
Yay.
looking to produce thank you. Where's the rest of you? An anthology towards the end of this year, which is really for me quite exciting. So here's a couple of poems. One or two of you might have heard this one before. It's called A Moment with Nature. Back home, no one walks in rain. When it thunders down, drumming on galvanized iron roofs, cascading from overhanging awnings, people pause, huddle in doorways or on strangers' galleries, taking shelter where they can. My father told me about men who lost their jobs back in the early days, sacked by cynical foremen, incensed, incredulous. What do you mean you stayed home because it was raining? This is England. It rains all the time. Well, you know what? From now on, you can stay home, period. So that night, watching as the deluge flooded our road and shards of light sparkled like broken glass, rebounding off parked cars, and streaks of lightning rent the sky, I leapt up, intoxicated by a sense of power arising from within me, but somehow connected to the forces raging without. Stripped to the waist, I went through the front door, nostrils flared, inhaling ozone-rich air, and I sprinted the length of the street. I returned, dripping wet, shivering from adrenaline-fueled ecstasy, to find my partner, aghast, distraught. Are you mad? She screamed. You could have died. I demurred. Yes. But thank God I'm alive. One more short one. And
Love that.
following on from that, it's called My Life. I was commissioned to work on a project which was about working with young people, year 5s and 6s, and talking about life stories. And I wrote a preface for the anthology that emerged from that. And obviously that had to be age appropriate. And then I came home and I wrote my life, which I call the funny remix, which is this. My life is a soap opera, a soap dish, a soap on a rope. My life is a slippery slope, a slippery eel, glass slipper. My life is a piece of cake, a cakewalk, a walk in the park. My life is an uphill run, an uphill climb, an uphill battle. My life is a battlefield, battleground, a battle royal. My life is a Chinese opera, a Greek tragedy, a French farce. My life is an idiot's tale, a fairy tale, a cat of nine tails. My life is the cat's meow, the cat's whiskers, the cat in the hat. My life is an open book, an open door, an open and shut case.
Thank you, Baden. That
Well,
was
Yeah.
great.
university education wasn't wasted, was it?
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
For context,
Okay.
Baden and I were on the same course 3,556,000 years ago.
And there were people in this room sitting there going, that guy went to university?
Yeah, but you only went for the grant. No,
No.
you did turn up because I remember you.
This is why you should never tell people your business.
Mm-hmm. And that the truth. All right, so
Well
it's
done.
let's pass this over to the lovely Norman. Are you ready, my dear?
Ready. What's that word ready?
Are you present? Present is enough.
I
Ready
am
is
more or
enough.
less present. I'm not too sure. Let's see how much we have enough time.
Yeah, we got time.
What
We're
people
good.
were I've been a little somewhat bemused and bemused and remused over the last while. I spent until 4 o'clock in the morning last night, or today, I have to say today now, in this writing a poem. And then I put it on Facebook. So I don't know where my head is. Now what? Just a second. I said spotlighted.
You are spotlighted.
Okay then. Oh, now I see my face, because what happened was a big picture was filling my screen, and it wasn't me.
Ah,
So
it's you for me. So hopefully for
yes.
everybody else, it's
Okay
you.
then. Good. I wasn't too sure. Anyways, a quick note. That was when I lived on Black Bay Road, and I got a feeling that sometime I'm going to write something that will start almost every other page with those words. On Black Bay Road in the Ottawa Valley, I used to hitchhike back and forth to Pembroke, 10 miles away. And I was in grade 5 at the time. Our teacher had given us 5 of his unruly students in a ride into Pembroke, 10 miles away, in his Volkswagen. 5 grade 5 kids. And he jammed them all in, and we all got a card. And that card was a doorway. And a doorway that traveled from Black Bay Road, 10 miles down road, to Pembroke, to the library. And every week, every chance I got, I would take the 10 miles, hitchhike into Pembroke, take the limit of 7 books. And then the 7 books came back, and I don't know how long it took for me to to read all those stories. But you know, one of the spots in the back of our house was an old car that was rusted, but it was surrounded by willow branches and trees, and in the springtime I was surrounded by plum blossoms, and I would open up this door in the rusty car, surrounded by these plum blossoms. I would shut the door behind me, and I'd read a book. Now, not the only spot; it was the best spot, though. And I'm not too sure why I'm telling you all of this right now. If it explains what happened next in my life, but I was reading stories of Captain Nemo and of all and the great mysteries and science fiction and murder mysteries, and I would then go back to trip 10 miles in, 7 books and 10 miles back, and until I ended up one day, they says, "You're showing promise, lads. Why don't you go to university?" And says, "Okay, why not?" I didn't know what university really was for, but I went anyways because they said I should go. And I got a special program for advanced students. I don't know if they called me advanced. I don't see myself as such, but Pembroke was 350 miles from the St. Catharines and Brock University, and I didn't have the money to get there to take the bus, so I hitchhiked. And I walked out to the highway, the same highway I walked out to where I used to take the books back and pick them up. And I was 200 miles from Petawawa, heading south towards St. Catharines. And I suddenly realized I didn't know where St. Catharines was. I didn't have a map. And I was on my way. And somehow I ended up in in St. Catharines, but I'm still lost, I think, to this very day. I think that I'm lost to this day, but I'm still working on finding myself a map as to where I'm headed. And I'm not too sure where all this is going, but I just will finish this mapless story right now. Long time ago, in the country of Africa, and I don't know which one of the northern countries it was, there was a young man named Tabak. And Tabak was a clever young man, and he resolved to marry only the woman who was as clever as he was. And his father thought his son would never ever marry because there is nobody as clever as his son. And so the son packed food into a bag, said goodbye to his father, said farewell to his mother, and headed down the road, and did not know where he was going. But he knew that he was seeking the woman who would be his companion. And one day as he was traveling along, he met a merchant on the road. And the merchant and he walked along, and just to pass the time, the young man said, "Will you carry me, or shall I carry you?" The merchant just looked at him and did not reply, and just moved a little further away from him. So they traveled along again in silence, until once more the young man, they're passing a field of wheat, waving in the breeze, and he turned to the merchant and he said, "I wonder if that wheat in that field has been harvested or not." The merchant just looked at him and didn't reply, but he moved a little further away. And so they came to the town that was the destination for both of them. And the young man said, "I wonder," as they were coming to it, a funeral was coming out of the town. There's weeping, there's wailing. They were going to the burial ground. And there was the coffin being carried along. And the young man spoke a third and final time. He says, "I wonder if the man in that coffin is dead or not." And at these words, the merchant hurried on and went into the town. And so the young man just traveled on his way into the mosque, where travelers were given a place to stay and food to eat and water to drink. But the merchant, full of these riddles in his head, traveled up to his house, which is a fine house in the town, and he greeted his daughter, and his daughter greeted him and said, "Oh, father, I am so happy that you are back. I hope that business was good for you." Yes, business was good, but it was also mysteries. And he told the story of the 3 riddles. He says, "Father, I'm a madman," and nobody could understand what his words meant. At first, as we walked along, he asked me, "Shall I carry you, or will you carry me?" And the daughter says, "Oh, father, that's an easy riddle to answer. Don't you know? You're traveling along. The road is long, and stories shorten the road when you hear them." He was asking you whether you would tell him a story, or you would tell him a story, and that would shorten the road. "Oh, now I understand," said the man. "But you would not understand the second one. I saw it with my own eyes. There, we were going past a field, and the field of wheat, and there the wheat was waving in the breeze." And then he asked a question, "I wonder if that wheat is harvested or not, when any fool could see that it was waving there in the breeze." "Oh, father," said the daughter, "don't you know? That was easier than the first riddle. He was asking if the farmer who had planted that wheat had borrowed money in order to buy the seed to grow that wheat. And if he had borrowed money to grow the wheat, then obviously somebody had harvested the wheat before him, because he would then have to pay back what he had cost him to grow the wheat." "Well, then you'll not understand the third riddle," said her father. "He said we were coming to a funeral. There was a coffin. There was somebody in the coffin. And he asked the question, I wonder if the man in that coffin is dead or not." And the young daughter, his daughter says, "Oh, father, that was the easiest riddle of all. He was asking if that man had died without children or relatives. For when we die without children and relatives to carry on our name and to carry on our stories, and if we are forgotten, then we are dead, and truly dead indeed. Oh, father, this is a man who is after my own heart. This is the man I shall marry." And the father says, "Daughter, how can you trust such a crazy man?" "Oh, that's easy enough," said the daughter. She called for a servant. "You shall carry the messages back to this young man in the mosque. Now, first of all, you must carry the messages carefully and exactly, and you must tell me exactly what he says when he brings you this." And she had a wooden bowl of milk filled with eggs and covered with a round loaf of bread. And she said, "Take this bowl of milk and eggs and bread and tell me exactly what the young man, such and such a man in the mosque, tells you. And if you do well, you will be the one carrying the messages back and forth between me and him." And so the young servant took the bowl of milk and the eggs and the covered with a loaf of bread, and the message came back this way. He said, the words were this: "It was a half moon, it was a low tide, and there was a few stars in the sky." "What?" said the woman. "You're not to be trusted." And she called for a second servant, and this time the milk and the eggs floating in the milk and the bowl covered with a loaf of bread came back with a message. It was very low tide, it was half a moon, and there was hardly any stars in the sky. You can't be trusted either, said the daughter. And a third servant was called for, and the third servant was given the same wooden bowl. The same milk was poured into the bowl. The boiled eggs were floating in the milk, and a round cover of bread was put on the bowl. And this time the message came back that was high tide. It was high tide, there was a full moon, and the stars were blazing in the sky. At this, the father had enough, and he called his daughter, and he said, "Daughter, you must explain these riddles, or I shall go mad myself." And the daughter says, "Oh, father, I finally met the man who I shall marry, for he is as clever as clever can be." What he meant by the message back and forth was that the first two servants had eaten some of the bread, they'd drunk some of the milk, and they had eaten the eggs and the bread, and so it was a few stars, it was low tide, and there was no stars in the sky. But the third servant is an honest woman. She did not eat the bread, she did not drink the milk, and when she came back, it was a full high tide, there was a full moon, and the stars, the eggs were blazing in the sky. And so therefore, Father, I have found the man who I shall marry. And so they did. In the rightness of time, the two were married, and they became known as Shani and Tabak, because they were so suited to each other in cleverness and wisdom. And as for that time on, this story is remembered because the people remember when a man and a woman are suited to each other, they are suited as well to each other as Shani was to Tabak. And this is a story I've told.
Thank you, Norman. That was great. I love it.
Did I tell the story to you before?
I haven't heard that one, so you haven't told it on here.
Okay.
No, you've done her sort of half of it, but or maybe someone else did half of it. But that was the most complete version I've heard.
Fabulous. I think that is pretty much all we have time for. But one thing I am going to do, because I keep forgetting to do it, is take a screenshot of everybody. So if you don't want to be in the screenshot social media, you're very welcome to switch your video off. But okay, I'll tell you when I'm going to take it. So everybody, pull your best Tails and Tunes faces. I don't know what this is. Okay, ready? In 3, 2, 1, go! Okay. Oh, I think I did it. Hang on, I've cut off some people. Hold on a second. Let me just... I think because I kept the captions, I've cut off some people. Let me see. I'll do it again in a minute. It just takes me a little while on my computer. Oh, that'll do. Okay. Right, we're going to do it one more time. Hold on. I have to turn the captions off because I managed to cut off Baden and May. Baden and May at the bottom of my screen because you're underneath the captions. Okay, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go! There we go. I think that's perfect. Let me grab that. Yay! Okay. All right. I am going to hand over to John for parish notices before we go. Tell us what's coming up on the World Storytelling Cafe. Go for it.
Well, thank you. It was a marvellous evening. Thank you.
It was, yeah. I should say before I pass you over, thank you. That was amazing. I feel like we've had such a treat, such a variety of things. It's just been wonderful.
Poems, songs, stories.
Oh, it's been
fantastic.
Great. Good.
And so what have I got? Oh, Friday, 6 p.m. British summertime. Oisin Murray tells stories for children on our regular Friday spot. 10 o'clock a.m. UK time.
On Saturday morning.
On Saturday morning, we have our International Young Tellers, which is one of my favourite programs of the month. Well, you know, they're all my favourite. Obviously, this is one of my favourite programs of the month, and like every other. I really love my young international tellers. We'll have tellers from Romania, from hopefully from Korea. Alicia always brings some pupils on, and Gaza, and whether in Gaza or Egypt, and India. Hopefully, they couldn't. India wasn't there last month because they had exams, and anywhere else. And like people, if you know any young people, they can tell in whichever country they want. What the Evita's making little
Italian noises. Italia will be there.
Oh, Italy's coming,
there
isn't
we
it? Yeah. Because they sat at they sat in as audience one month, but they're coming this month, I think, to tell.
Fabulous.
So, and anywhere else in the world that happens to have picked this up, and people can tell in any language they like. So that would be great. So, anyway, marvelous evening. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Waleed, for flying the magic carpet.
Yes, thank you, Waleed. Oh, I should say we are back with Tales and Tunes on Wednesday, the 6th of May, so the first Wednesday in May. So back for more of that. Please come back. And there is a worldwide story round in between on the 12th of April. So if you want another story round kind of thing, 12th of April with the lovely Mike Rust. But we will be back here on Wednesday, the 6th of
and there'll
May.
be a global story round with Vita, and I'll be hosting that at some point.
At some point.
The 18th. The 18th.
18th, yeah. Keep an eye on the World Storytelling Cafe. It's got everything
look at
kind
the
of month
schedule.
coming up.
You'll never remember these dates.
Lovely.
But that's the global one. Is the 10 o'clock in the morning one to allow sort of people on the other side of the world to join in Australia and the Far East, etc., etc. But meanwhile, have a wonderful weekend, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
It's not Friday. Right.
See you again, Christine. It's been too long.
Have a long weekend,
yeah.
everyone.
Take care, guys. And thank you, Keith, for coming. And thank you, everyone that didn't tell and came and watched us. Alison was up earlier. Keith is here. So thank you, guys.
Keith? I hope Keith is all right.
Yes, I hope
he's just been listening lately. I hope he's okay. We think of you, Keith.
Yeah, we're thinking of you.
Wishing you well, Keith.
Sure thing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice
Take care,
talk.
guys. I'll see you next month.
See you, Mike. Good to see you all, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Happy Easter if you celebrate.
Yeah.
Bye, guys. See you next
It's
time.
so exciting. Sorry, Baba C is not here. Somebody's got to do
the puns.
Whenever
Bye, guys.
Bye, all.
Bye. Good night. Night, Norman. Night, Baden.
Don't do that.
Good night, guys. Bye, Norman.